Welcome to Spirit Talks, because your spirit talks to you. Hello and welcome to Spirit Talks. I'm Susie Beiler.
And I'm Maximilliam Haver.
Today's Spirit Talk topic is reprogramming and rewiring.
Thanks for joining us and enjoy.
Early in my awakening, I understood that I could change my DNA. And that started me off on this path of wanting to reach my potential in a human body. And I understood that it would take a lot of releasing the old programs, the old patterns, and rewiring my nervous system and my brain. So that's what I've been doing for the past 10 years.
So how do you go about doing that?
Well, I had a lot of assistance from acupuncture when I was first starting out. And what would happen in those sessions is that I would travel different places. Some might call it astral traveling. I do believe that I traveled into different realms and realities, and I brought back information from those realms. And what would happen would be I would feel really great after the session, and then something would happen and I would have to integrate whatever that new information was that I brought back. I would then have to integrate it. So it's this process over time of very consciously releasing things that did not serve me, patterns, programs, ways of being, and rewiring myself so that it was like embracing new belief systems and doing things a different way. Like I would notice along the way, I used to feel this way about this, or I used to do it this way, and now I'm choosing a different way.
So this is changing how you react to things, how you habitually do things or take action in habitual thoughts?
This has changed everything. This has changed every facet of my life, how I approach things, how I relate with people, how I relate with myself, how I respond to things. So I'm less reactive now and more responsive. And it has been a very conscious process of noticing, oh, I don't like the way I just reacted to that. Next time I'm going to do something different. And in this way, over time, very consciously, very intentionally, I've repatterned my brain, I've rewired my nervous system, everything. And I will continue doing it.
So if someone's seeking to do this for themselves, do you have any advice for them?
One of the first things I would say is get support, either from someone who's been through it before or a coach or a mentor, because it is challenging to do it by yourself, and it is helpful to have a mirror, someone to reflect back to you. Yeah, that's exactly it. You're in the right place at the right time, or someone to say, you're a little off with the way you're approaching this. Someone who's going to be really honest with you. The second thing I would say is that it is a disciplined practice. It's not just something that you intend to do and then you go about your life. It's something that you intend to do, and then each day you are in awareness of how you are responding to things, how you are relating with people, how you are approaching a growth opportunity in your life. It's not something that is just going to happen with your intention. It's something that you need to apply yourself and make it a disciplined habit.
Is there anything to be aware of with the ego trying to justify its habits?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, one of the biggest things that I've done with my ego is whenever I feel it trying to sabotage, I simply acknowledge it and I say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You have served me in so many ways. I appreciate you. And I hold it like a little baby. And I say, I hear you, I fully feel you, and I'm making this choice. And you don't have to go away. I'm not pushing you out of my life. I'm fully recognizing that you're here and this is how you feel, and I'm making this choice. So get on board. And then that way you can, in a sense, you're using your ego to further your mission. Because once it gets on board, it's like, oh, how can I help? Yeah, that's a pretty big thing. Thanks for bringing that up.
So you're giving the ego a proper job to assist your path, and you're not trying to subdue or defeat your ego, which seems to be a common idea.
That's right. Yeah, I'm not into letting go of the ego. I'm into really acknowledging it and saying, hey, how can we work together? Because this is what I'm up to, this is what I'm doing. And just because I'm doing this doesn't mean you have to be threatened. I'm not going to push you out. You're still here. You're still part of me. And it works a lot smoother that way, at least in my experience.
Mm-hmm. And this is also recognizing that just feeding your ego isn't the way to further your path either.
Correct. I'm not feeding it. I'm just acknowledging it and letting it know this is the choice I'm making. This is how you can participate in it or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how do you go about dealing with scattered thoughts, if that's part of the programming you're in?
Yeah. Recognizing that it's part of the program, and then doing some practical things. So if you're having scattered thoughts, you might want to look at how much sugar you're consuming, because sugar has a very scattering energy, and a lot of people that have that kind of scattered energy consume a lot of sugar. So that's just something real practical that you can do. And I also like to find clarity by going out into nature, because nature has these beautiful energetic signatures that help us bring ourselves back into a more natural state of being. So if we can go out into nature, it's almost like osmosis. We can bring those energetic signatures into our being and allow us to be more clear. Because thinking is, it's kind of one of those things that happens in this society, most of us are overthinking. And the last thing that I'll share about that is breathing through the belly. A lot of people are breathing into their chest, which activates the fight, fright, or flight response, and that stimulates overthinking. And so if you can focus breathing through your belly, it's a great physiological thing that you can do for yourself to calm your mind, and not just your mind, but your whole being.
Wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like to share on ideas of reprogramming or rewiring?
Yeah, it's really important to remember that in order to reprogram and rewire, we have to let go of that which does not serve us. And so one of the things that I've done is worked very intentionally to release patterns, programs, implants, imprints. And I've used the violet flame to do that. I've used the sacred fires of the unified heart flames, like we spoke about in another episode. And I asked those flames to assist in the release and transmutation of any programs, patterns, imprints, or implants that no longer serve my highest good. And as I'm releasing, I give it gratitude. Thank you for how you serve me. I'm now complete. I'm moving on. Thank you. I transmute you into the highest forms of love and light. And that has really cleaned out my spiritual being, my physical being, my emotional being, my mental being, and allowed me to become much more clear and slowed down the thoughts. And in that way, I have rewired and reprogrammed myself. And there's always more. Woohoo! Thank you very much for joining us today. We'll see you in the next episode.
May you be aware of your thoughts and be able to choose freely and enjoy that freedom.